Bonjour! Drink with James, episode 49. Listen, I just got back from Paris. Excuse me if I just randomly slip into French. Actually, the only thing I can say is bonjour and bonsoir. And can I please have a Manhattan? Manhattan, please. In all reality, I was in London and France and Paris last week. It was lovely. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. You should. James Nord, right here. But I had a great time. London, worse than Paris. London just can't make a fucking cocktail to save their life. I ordered a Manhattan no less than 3 times, and 3 times I got this tan-ish yellow dog piss in a glass that I just don't understand. How you don't know how to make a Manhattan. I literally ordered one at where was I? At the Shoreditch House. And the waiter looked at me and was like, "What is that? Is that a cocktail?" And I was just like, "Oh, how do you not know what a Manhattan is?" Anyway, other than that, it was great. Super busy. I loved it. I got my mom with me. Has anyone traveled with their parents? I know that you guys travel all the time. Have you been able to bring your parents on a vacation yet? It's kind of cool to flip things around and be like, "I got you. Yeah, mom, you can grab a soda from the mini bar." That was probably the most exciting part for her, is that she could drink stuff from the mini bar. But we're back. It's Monday. We didn't film enough of these before, so Tim is making me do it today. We're getting it out. We're turning it around the same day, something we've never done before. So I'll try and not be as loquacious as I am generally. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. So it's 2 o'clock. I just got birthday whiskey from Posh Classy Mom. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. She sent a very nice note. I should maybe do a whole drink with James on how y'all can kiss my ass better. Because some of you get it, and some of you totally are striking out. But we're drinking some scotch. I just got these Baccarat glasses. This thing weighs 25 pounds. I can barely lift it. So I'm happy that I'm drinking out of elevated glassware again. I'm happy with the scotch that I'm drinking. I'm not super pleased to be getting drunk at 2:30 in the afternoon after being out of the office for a week, but this is my cross to bear, and I do it for y'all. Yes, you definitely should be sending, if it's a sponsored post, especially if there's money involved, obviously, you should be sending that draft to the brand to approve. Just have them look over it. There's so many times, I'm sure y'all have seen, after you do a collaboration, the brand reaches out, or someone from the agency that managed it and said, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry, you spelled this wrong," or actually, the product's made in, Detroit, not California. Could you change that? And there's always these kind of this whole fire drill thing, and you could be out, and maybe your CMS doesn't work great on mobile, so then you're calling somebody, "Hey, can you log into my account and change this thing?" Because they want to send it to the client, but they don't want the client to see it with the mistakes. It's just a headache that could be very easily avoided by sending drafts through a couple days in advance. One, it forces you to just be more professional and to get your stuff done a few days before, so that you're not writing your blog post at midnight the night before it goes up. But it gives the brand or agency or platform that you're working with a chance to look it over and see if there's any changes. Now, the caveat being that you need to negotiate up front what they are and are not able to change. I've seen brands come back to influencers and say, "Hey, could you add this paragraph in?" And they just send them a boilerplate shitty marketing speak, key message filled paragraph about, whatever they're trying to say. Don't feel pressured to include those things. You can say, "Hey, I'm sending along this draft to see if there's any small edits or, spelling or factual changes that you need me to make," but you don't have to say it, but saying I'm sending this along to see if there's any factual or grammatical or spelling things you need changed before I publish, lets them know that, hey, you don't have carte blanche to just change this and rewrite my copy. This is my blog post, which you hired me to do. If there's a small change, you can make it. If not, we're not doing it. So make sure you kind of set the guidelines And don't let yourself be pushed around. If a brand does send a whole paragraph and say, can you include this? You can say, I'm so sorry, I can try and incorporate some of that key messaging into the blog post, but I can't, just post things that you wrote. Yeah, I mean, I think even if the brand didn't ask for a draft, you should be sending it. Because again, we had the conference last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't know how long ago it was. But a consistent theme over and over again with the influencers that were there, where they were saying that they felt like they were successful just because they had a higher level of professionalism than some of the other people in the industry. And doing something like sending drafts is something easy that can set you apart. So do it. Shadow ban, shadow ban. Shadow bans, fucking cool name, first of all. First time I heard about it, I was just like, I don't know what that is, but I want to be a part of it. It sounds cool. What is a shadow ban? So it's murky, it's shadowy, you could say. Essentially, what it seems like is happening is that people that use the same hashtag over and over again eventually are being essentially banned from using that hashtag, in that if you click on the hashtag, their posts aren't showing up inside of that hashtag. So they're having a harder time getting some of the engagement that they were by using hashtags. We haven't been able to look into this fully, but from what I've read, it is only affecting business accounts, and you have to use the hashtag quite a bit to eventually get shadow banned from it. So there's a few solutions. One, stop fucking abusing the same hashtag over and over again. That's not maybe a great strategy, to just throw a shitload of hashtags on every post and have them be the same exact thing over and over and over again. So that's maybe one solution. Solution two, you could switch from a business account to a private account. It doesn't appear to be affecting private accounts, just businesses, which makes sense because you don't want a bunch of shitty businesses abusing hashtags getting in the way of the content that people really want, which is generally not from brands, but from people, right? So I understand why Instagram has done this, because if you have the, OOTD hashtag, and all of a sudden brands have taken it over to try and get their content in front of consumers, that hashtag has become less interesting. And so if you have your account listed as a business account, you're kind of bucketed in with all the vapes, like the vape pens out there that are trying to do shady stuff on Instagram that Instagram is trying to stop them from doing that. So that is an option. Option one, stop abusing the hashtags and just chill out on them a little bit. Option two, switch over to a private account. We don't know how many posts it takes to get there. We don't really even know if this is just a glitch. It's just something that's continued to come up. I feel like it's probably a real thing because it makes sense. I understand why Instagram would do it. But we're going to try and dig a little bit more and see if we can figure out how many posts you have to make on the same hashtag to be able to get shadow banned. There's some sites out there, I think, that will check to see if you're banned from a hashtag. I don't know what they are, and I don't know that they're legit, so I'm not going to endorse them here. But you can do a little Google searching and find out. So outsourcing, I read this book called Titan, which is about John D. Rockefeller, which I think I've talked about a few times on the show, which was incredible. And if you're down to read an 800-page book about the early industrial revolution and John D. Rockefeller, I highly suggest it if that's your thing. He said that when somebody joined Standard Oil, the first day, their boss would be essentially your job is to stop doing your job as soon as possible. So you should progress so quickly and learn so much, and the company should be growing so fast that you step out of the responsibilities you have into other ones and hand those responsibilities off to someone else. So you think about when you start out as an influencer, you're shooting, you're editing, you're posting, you're making polls, you're doing the shopping, you're answering emails, you're negotiating with brands, you're doing fucking everything. And as you get more successful, you should start to try and hack some of that shit off of your plate onto somebody else's so that you can focus on what you're really great at. And the first part of that is figuring out what you're really great at. and making sure that you focus on that. So I think just in general, everybody should have a lawyer, an accountant, and a photographer that they work with. That's just like baseline. Unless, you've got, the Instagram husband, or you're just an Instagrammer and you're shooting yourself. Those are kind of like baseline what you need. But then as you get more successful, or even as you're growing, you can start to remove some stuff from your plate. I think that there's no reason not to outsource like chasing up invoices. Like that's simple. You shouldn't be doing it. It could mess with your relationship with the client. It feels weird. So if you have an accountant, ask if that accountant will chase the invoices for you. Getting a virtual PA. There's a lot of great services. You can Google it. My friend Nick Gray, we'll try and link to an article. Nick Gray is a buddy of mine who runs a business, and at some point he was using like 4 virtual assistants to kind of run his life, and he has this really funny article about it. And he links to kind of like where he found them and who was really good. So I think those work well. Somebody that even just scheduling your meetings. Again, I now have an assistant, which I was initially like reluctant to do because it felt like, who do I think I am that I need an assistant? I'm not that busy. But I've gotten so much better at my job being able to, take a lot of the things off my plate that I'm not that good at following up with. If any of you have emailed me and I haven't emailed you back, you know that like I'm not that good at following up on emails. I'm not that good at like keeping a schedule, reminding myself to do things. So like having an assistant has made me a lot better at what I am good at in this company, which I won't say what that is, but it's a lot of things. Don't worry, I'm good at a lot of things. But filling those gaps in the things that I wasn't good at was hugely important to like my progression as a CEO. And I encourage all of you to kind of look at your day-to-day, look at your day and say like, what do I not like doing and what am I bad at? And those are the first 2 places where you should find somebody. So if you're like, what I fucking hate is uploading my blog posts and tagging the products on Reward Style or Shop Style and, getting all the images in there and making sure, like, I hate doing that. Then like find an editorial assistant who can do that for you. And now all of a sudden you have an hour of your day left where you can be doing the things you love doing, which is maybe shooting or reading, other blogs or magazines for inspiration. You could have somebody that kind of helps with the business operations side of things, negotiating. Maybe you hate negotiating and you're bad at it. Cool, like find someone who's good at it. It doesn't have to be an agent. It could just be somebody that like has worked in business before and can help you out running the business side of things. So important to understand like what you're good at and then what you're bad at and what you don't like doing, and try and maximize for the thing you're good at and minimize for the things that you're bad at. And there are people in this world that are really good at the things that you are bad at. And so imagine how much better you are in doing that. I mean, Drink with James is a great example. We would have done 3 episodes if Tim wasn't here. But Tim makes sure that it's on my calendar and makes sure that it gets done every week and makes sure that we have questions and it gets edited and posted. I literally would have maybe done 3 or 4 episodes of this if he wasn't there. So it's important to find people that can take your ideas and take the things that you want to do and make sure they get executed. So it's 3 o'clock. I'm a little drunk. It's hot in here. I'm not in Paris, but I'm in New York, which is a good consolation. Keep the questions coming. What else do I need to say?
Is that a new suit?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was my birthday 2 days ago. Is it 2 days ago? What's today? Is today the 8th?
Yeah.
It's my birthday 2 days ago. Thank you. Happy birthday, I know. So yeah, I bought this as a birthday present in Paris from a store called Boggy, which is not in the US. Any guys out there, or ladies, if you're shopping for your man, Boggy, if you're in Italy or France, they have stores. It's similar pricing to Suit Supply, but quite a bit better. So this is new, and the tie is from them as well. Thank you. I know it looks great. I appreciate it. Cheers.